Hello and welcome to Dad and Swebb Talk Sports. I'm Swebb.
And I'm Dad.
And we are the dad and daughter duo talking about all of our favorite sports moments from the week. Dad, it's been a good week, good couple of days, a good 24 hours.
Oh, really? What's so good about it, Sweb?
It didn't seem like Miami had a fighter's chance of getting into the college football playoff picture. The top 12 teams relatively. There are a few automatic qualifiers in there, but it looks like they were going to be one of the first teams out. And Sunday, I'm leaving church and I'm getting texts saying, we're in. They put on a massive PR campaign the past week. I'm really, really proud of my Miami Hurricanes and the ACC because they would not accept no for an answer. So just to back up for everyone, college football playoffs. The best teams in college football play in a little bit of a playoff format. Back in the day, it used to just be the best two teams played in the national championship. There was always some controversy.
Back in the real day, there was no championship game, and went by the Associated Press, the writers' vote, if you want to go back in the day.
Well, back in your day, there was no championship game at all. Then, for how many years would you say?
When they started that BCS, the two top teams,
Yes.
15 years ago, maybe?
So then for the past 15 years or so,
Maybe
12,
20 years at the most.
15, 20 years, it was all about a committee voting on the top two teams that played in the national championship game. And all of the other teams that had had success throughout the year got to play in various bowl games around the country. The past few years, what has it been, 3 years, 4 years? They switched the format. So they initially switched the format to the top four teams that played in two semifinal games and then in the championship. And then most recently, the past 2 years, they have picked the top 12 teams. So it's 4 top conference championship teams and then at-large bids in there as well. So last year, Miami was on the outside looking in because they messed up. They lost a game against Syracuse that they shouldn't have lost. They had their destiny in their own hands last year.
And they lost to California also.
They lost to Cal, but the real one that sent it over the edge was the game in late November where they lost to Syracuse. This year, they're riding along good. They beat Notre Dame, first game of the season. They lay a beat down on FSU in Florida. They're rolling through their schedule, and then they hit Louisville and they lose. And then they hit SMU and they lose. And then their ACC ranking goes down, their overall ranking goes down, and it's looking like they're not going to get in because the ACC champion would likely get into the mix. But boy, here we are. A few things happened, some losses here and there for some schools.
Losses here and there? You better send Duke a thank you card. Okay.
Duke at 7-5 beats UVA, who was the ACC, the leader in the ACC, ends up beating them on Saturday night.
And they couldn't put Duke in because Duke already had 5 losses.
They were 7-5, now 8-5. No one who's 8-5 is getting in. So that opened up some spots. There was talk all week, right, Dad? Talk all week about Notre Dame getting in. And I'm thinking the 3 teams that are on the cusp, or 3 or 4 teams that are on the cusp, are Miami, Alabama, Notre Dame, and Texas. Not where you want to be.
And Vanderbilt you could put Vanderbilt in that boat.
And Vanderbilt. But knowing the firepower of those schools, their alumni base, those football programs in Texas, Alabama, Notre Dame, Miami's got a good pedigree, but they don't have the pedigree of Texas, Notre Dame, and Alabama. And they haven't been relevant, really, in the past 20 years. So your girl was nervous. I was nervous. I was ready I have this hook over here by the front door with all my coats on it. And I just brought home a winter coat from mom when I was down there for Thanksgiving. And I thought about removing the Miami jacket to make some room. And I said earlier this week, I said, you know what? Let me just wait a week. Let me wait a week before I wash it, put the plastic on it, shove it into the coat closet until March Madness, if they make the tournament there, or it could be until August of 2026. I said, let me just wait a few days. Guess what? I'll be wearing that coat on December 20th. December 20th, they're playing Texas A&M, and I'll be wearing that jacket.
Is that your prize? Going to Texas A&M and playing Texas A&M?
Well, listen, before we get into all of that, it didn't.
Good luck on that one.
Miami had boosters flying planes saying Miami should be in. Sure enough, we had all the broadcasters finally get on our side and say that Miami should be getting in because Notre Dame, we'd beat them the first game of the season.
And they lost to Florida State.
And they lost to Florida State, and we put a beat down on Florida State. And to be honest, the game against Notre Dame was really not that close until we let our foot off the gas in like the fourth quarter. We had been beating them down. Nick Saban, the GOAT of college football, saying that Miami should be in. The ACC conference, they put on a PR campaign because they didn't want to be the conference that missed out on having a participant in a 12-team playoff. It's not good for the conference. You start to have teams that want to leave the conference because they can't get into the college football playoffs being part of the ACC. So you had this huge PR campaign, and Miami's in.
You better thank Duke, because if Duke hadn't beaten Virginia, and that was an overtime game, see, my connections to Duke come through.
Well, Duke, Texas Tech put a beat down on BYU. They were also in the running, so that helped. Alabama, I'm actually surprised that they were still ranked ahead of Miami. You can't get everything. They got beat down by Georgia. Notre Dame and Miami weren't playing because this was conference championship weekend. And, here we are. So I'm feeling good. Obviously, something to be excited about. It's the most wonderful time of the year, not just because Christmas is around the corner, folks, but because Miami's in the college football playoffs. So now we start to look at these matchups. Number one team, the top four teams have a bye. So you have Indiana, Ohio State, Georgia, and Texas Tech are your top four teams. The other 8 teams will play December 19th and December 20th. So if we look at the matchups here, Miami's going down to College Station, and they're going to play Texas A&M on Saturday at noon.
You better hope all the students have left already for Christmas.
Listen.
But you know what? They got enough other people in that state. They could still pack the place.
You don't want to mess with the 12th man, which is known as the fans of Texas A&M. It's
exactly.
Very rowdy. I was watching a women's college volleyball match, and the crowd was going nuts, and the players went into the stands after they beat Texas. So, listen, I'm taking it day by day. I haven't completely shifted my focus to December 20th yet. I'm still riding the high of Miami getting in. Obviously, I'm wearing my sweatshirt from Abercrombie, but it's going to be a tough one. And you can't exactly, after you had everyone fighting for you, you had planes flying around South Florida saying Miami should be in, you had every broadcaster outside of South Bend, Indiana saying Miami should be in. You had, the senators and all types of things saying that Miami should be in. You can't exactly lay an egg when you're in, okay? So, I haven't completely shifted my focus yet to the game, but I'm nervous.
Well, you got a few weeks. Enjoy the next few weeks.
I've got 2 weeks. And I'm thinking about having a little bit of a watch party with some friends. Just letting people know this is where I'm going to be. Come join me. I'll either be jumping for joy or crying in someone's arms.
Your team is in a big game, and you're going to invite a whole bunch of people over? I would never do that.
See, normally I wouldn't, but it's really fun if your team ends up winning. Like I'm going to go to the scene of the first game of the season against Notre Dame where they won. I wore this sweatshirt. I had some friends join me. It was the start of college football season. I wasn't sure how they were going to play against Notre Dame, but I was like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's watch college football together. And they won. So I'm going to go back to that place and I'm going to have people join me. And we're either going to be crying or we're going to be jumping for joy.
Good luck.
So, yeah. And now, if they beat Texas A&M, well, then they play Ohio State, who is solidly the number one team in the country all season until this past Saturday.
Well, they can be beat.
They'll
They
play
can be
them
beat.
on December 31st at 7:30 p.m. So if Miami wins on next Saturday, which I'm hoping they do, we'll then go and play Ohio State on New Year's Eve. And I guess I'm having people over for New Year's Eve because I'm not going to go and like try and squeeze into some bar to watch this game while people are celebrating New Year's. And I don't want to be alone on New Year's Eve. So I guess I'm having people over.
Well, you could come with me on New Year's Eve.
Nah. I'll
I'm
be in
gonna
New
be
York.
I'm gonna be at the Citrus Bowl 3:00 in the afternoon
Not interested.
to see Michigan play.
Not interested. I've been to the Citrus Bowl actually because Miami played in the Citrus Bowl. Mom and I went to the Citrus Bowl once.
I remember that.
When Miami played Wisconsin and lost that game. So I'm not interested. My team is in the college football playoffs. I'm not interested in the Citrus Bowl. I'm not interested in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. I'm not interested in the Cheez-Its Bowl. I'm not interested in any of it because my team is in the college football playoffs. You heard?
You know, years ago, there was 4 bowl games: Orange Bowl, Sugar Bowl, Cotton Bowl, Rose Bowl. That was it.
Here's
8
the
teams got into bowl games.
Last year, I was talking to friends after we beat Florida State in Miami last year. I was at that game. It was homecoming weekend. I started talking to friends like, hey, maybe I'll go to the college football playoffs if they get in. And guess what?
Yeah, then they got messed up because they
went to the
take their foot
Pop-Tarts
off.
Bowl.
Right.
So I gotta celebrate. We'll see how it goes. We're taking it week by week, but I'm happy. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. All right.
What else you want to talk about, Swebb?
Let's talk about the Knicks because I would say and as we shift to some basketball here, the Knicks are looking good. They are, 16-7. They're number 2 in the Eastern Conference. They're 2.5 games behind Detroit, which is a very good team. They just beat Orlando, who they had struggled with on Sunday afternoon. They're 13-1 at home. Of course, now they're going on the road. They played in Toronto on Tuesday. They just played Toronto last week and won that game handily. So the Knicks are looking good, Dad.
Yeah, Swebb, but they're not playing that well on the road. And then when they play real good teams on the road, they hang around for like 3 quarters, then the fourth quarter or the second half of the fourth quarter they get blown out.
It's a little bit of a mirage, isn't it?
What's a mirage?
The Knicks right now. They're 13-1 at home,
Right.
16.
You know how many bad teams there are in the NFL, in the NBA?
Listen,
There are a lot of bad teams.
I'll take a few positives here, though, because OG Anunoby had been out. He was hurt. He comes back 2 games ago. But the emergence of Deuce McBride
He's playing great.
has been something that is most definitely not a mirage. That is real. The emergence. Let's go through some stats. I'll actually tell you a story while I'm pulling up the stats. So last week, I'm with a friend. You know, it's Christmas here in New York City, so you want to be out. Every bar, every restaurant has garland. Even the ugly looking places all of a sudden look really pretty with, it's like an ugly girl putting on some makeup, you know? And so I'm at this bar with a friend, and we're sitting down just chatting, and a group of firefighters come in. They had come in, they had some fundraiser that was a charity thing, and there's just like a bunch of them, and they all have mustaches, they're all wearing plaid. I don't even know what the theme of it was, but I think there was some sort of bar crawl, and a few of them sit down, and there's a guy wearing a Knicks jacket. So we start talking, and he's talking to me about Tyler Kolek and how he needs more playing time, and he's playing so well. And I think he's a very good player, and he has been playing well. Do I think he needs more playing time right now? No. But I said, look at Deuce McBride. He's now in his 5th year in the league. When he first started, he didn't have the jump shot that he has now. There's clearly been a progression, especially in the past season and change, especially once the Knicks traded away Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett, that gave Deuce the room to develop. And this year in particular, with OG Anunoby being out because he was hurt, Mike Brown inserting him into the starting lineup, inserting Deuce into the starting lineup, this guy is confidently putting up shots, and he's making them. So you think now he's in year 5, he's only like 24. The development has been phenomenal. And that is a testament to him working and putting in the work in the gym.
That's what it's all about, hard work.
So if we look at his stats, in the month of December, he's averaging 28.3 minutes, obviously a career high. He's averaging 12.5 points. But here's the thing. He's averaging 45.5% from the field, and his 3-point shooting percentage is 48.1. And he's not just taking 1 or 2 shots a game. He's averaging almost 7 3-point attempts per game during the month of July, making 3.3 of those. So, this is the guy who he's hitting the shots, and he's becoming more and more confident. And it was the game, wasn't this on Sunday? It was the game prior to that when they played Utah, where it's like every time he touched the ball and shot, it went in. Like he's just been on. There was like a 2-game stretch where he was like everything was going in. And so while the Knicks season, the jury is still out on how good they are, Deuce McBride has been a really bright spot for them.
He's been tremendous, and it just goes to show you, hard work. You can tell that he's been working hard, spending a lot of hours, not just going to practice and going home or going to the club or something. He's been putting in the time, getting up early. That's what it takes. Work hard.
And
those are the kind of people I respect.
He's always been a great defender. We remember during the playoff run.
Yeah, he's always been great at that.
When Thibodeau wanted to add some defensive intensity, he was able to bring in Deuce McBride. So now you add in the fact that he's hitting open shots, but he's also scoring. He's facilitating the offense. He's also allows for other guys to get open, because now you have to defend him at their 3-point line. He's dangerous, and this is the type of guy, when you think about your bench players, your role players, like this is what makes good teams great.
That's what it takes, Swebb. You need these guys that don't make a lot of money starting to contribute in a big way. Because there's a limit to how many guys you could pay $30-40 million to. Okay, they've maxed out on high rise. So you need some of these guys to come in and start playing and contributing. And they're going to have 4 draft picks in the up-and-coming draft. They're going to have to convert those into some guys that can come in and start contributing a little bit even and start developing.
Now, there has, of course, been news about Giannis Antetokounmpo, former league MVP from the Milwaukee Bucks, wanting to get out of Dodge. And the only team he wants to come to is the New York Knicks. And I have not heard of a top-tier player wanting to come to the New York Knicks for pretty much my whole entire life.
Because they're good now. And teams know that if a guy like him especially, he comes here, he knows, whoop, they're in. They could win the whole thing.
And let me tell you, when the Bucks came to the Garden about a week and a half ago and he put up 37 points in about 25 minutes of play.
That was some show. But now he's out for another 2 to 4 weeks.
Now he's out, and I'm not going to question anyone's injury status.
No, he's hurt.
I'm not locked into the Bucks enough to know. It doesn't seem right now like although I was that one year when that was the team that I randomly picked to be a fan
Yeah, I
of.
remember that.
It doesn't look like the Knicks have enough pieces to get Giannis. So now I'm
Yeah.
like, well, if
They
he's
gave up
hurt,
5 first-round draft picks for Bridges, and when you give up 5 first-round draft picks, you're supposed to be getting an all-star back, minimum all-star. And Bridges is a nice player, but he's no all-star.
his all-star tendencies once a month.
Well, no, like every other game, he plays great, and then other games you don't even know he's out there.
I would say like twice
Okay,
a month.
well, whatever. He's a nice kid. You don't give up 5 first-round draft picks for a guy like him.
So
Now, for Giannis, you do. That's the difference. So
like,
now they're out of draft picks, and they don't have the capital to get the guy.
but because he's hurt, do you think there's some leverage? There's not enough.
It's just
leverage.
a calf strain. No. They're not giving that away.
I know. Oh man, if they were able to get him,
Let's see what happens.
we'll see.
He's been a good soldier out there. He might demand. The only place I want to go is New York. Some of these guys in NBA, I don't particularly like that tactic. And he's
Unless
a very
they're coming
class.
to my team.
No, he's a class guy and he has a lot of character. I don't think he would pull something like that. But if he does, we'll take him.
If I'm, if I'm the owner of the Bucks, I'm not giving him away for a bag of garbage. All right, so let's talk some more basketball. We're talking about players who have emerged this season. UNC Tar Heels. They blow out Georgetown basketball on Sunday afternoon, Sunday early evening. But the emergence, we've talked about Caleb Wilson, so that he's already emerged. Derek Dixon.
Derek Dixon was like the 50th ranked high school player in the country last year. He went to Gonzaga High School, which is a Catholic prep school in Washington, D.C. And he was the best player in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area last year. But he didn't get a lot of publicity. And the first few games, I was at that Kansas game, he was just getting his feet wet. But in that Kentucky game, he took over. And then yesterday, against Georgetown, he scored 15 points. He's playing more minutes than the starting point guard now. He's 6'5". He can really shoot the ball, and he has a high basketball IQ. Voila.
So the past two games, Georgetown and Kentucky, they beat Kentucky about a week and a half ago. He played 24 minutes against Kentucky, 27 minutes against Georgetown on Sunday. He put up 14 points against Georgetown. He put up 9 against Kentucky, but hit a big shot to ice that game.
Two big shots.
In
He
the
hit
last
three.
minute and a half.
Yeah, he hit that 3, and then he drove to the basket and hit a lefty layup. And that's what won the game.
Now, Carolina can be a little frenetic in terms of shot selection. I think he's a freshman playing college basketball they're 8-1. He's only playing 9 games. I think he'll just continue to get better now. He's got this confidence. He certainly feels comfortable taking that shot, that open shot. Carolina's got some great shooters on their team as well. This is the difference between them and the team of the past couple of years, really, since they went to the national championship that game.
And they have a lot of size.
And they have a lot of size. So, I like what I'm seeing. I think that they could be a little bit more careful with the ball and take better shots. But they've been good. This next stretch now, they'll play a bunch of teams before conference play. They'll play a bunch of teams that really they should blow out. South Carolina Upstate. Who else do they have? Eastern Tennessee. And then they'll play Ohio State in about a week and a half.
That's in Atlanta. A week and a half from now.
So
we'll see what happens, Swebb. They look
Carolina's
good.
looking good.
But this is the kind of Carolina team I'm used to. Bunch of big guys, bunch of guys that can shoot and pass, and the big guys can also shoot and pass
I've got to
and play
say,
defense.
I'm
This
impressed
is
with
more like it.
I'm impressed with their big man, Visser. First preseason game I saw in the first game of the season, I thought he was going to blow away with a strong gust of wind. He seemed to be a little bit soft to me, but hey, I'll eat my words because
He's going to be a late first round draft pick.
he's a good player. He can hit the outside shot. He also feels comfortable posting up and has some good post moves, and he'll mop up those boards. So I will eat my words on
He can shoot the three.
my
He has
initial
good
assessment.
post moves, a lefty jump hook, a righty jump hook. He can block shots. He can rebound. I'd love to see the Knicks draft him.
And with Caleb Wilson at the four spot and Visser at the 5, you've got a sizable and very effective front court. And now it looks like North Carolina has all the pieces to be really competitive into March and April.
They're gonna be good. We'll see how far they go. They're gonna be good. And they're only gonna get better. Remember, there's 11 new players on this team, so all these guys are just starting to get used to playing with one another.
The only returning player that has been in the lineup is Seth Tremble, and he's out with a broken arm. But that actually has allowed for some of these other guys to emerge,
That's
like
right.
Dixon. So now you talk about injuries. We talked about that with Deuce McBride getting inserted into the starting lineup. Gives the time for guys to develop as players. They'll be more confident. They hit those shots. They have some success. Now when you get to the later stages of the season, you're playing Duke and you're playing for a conference championship, you're playing into March Madness. Now you have guys that feel comfortable being on the court. So gone are the days of UNC really only being able to play 7 guys.
Yep. No, they're playing like 10 guys.
Yeah. So things
Because
are
they
looking
have 10 legitimate ball players. Last year they didn't. That's why he only played 7.
It wasn't just last year.
Right. Well,
In the past couple of years. They finally got with the program and hired a GM and hit the portal. Better late than never. Okay. So, Dad, what are you excited for this upcoming week? What's going on? We're not talking baseball today.
are we going to talk Jets?
No.
Are we going to talk? Are we going to talk that Indiana team? Well, I'll save that for tip of the week.
Okay. Well, what are you
What am
looking
I
forward
excited
to
for?
this week?
I'm going to the Citrus, not this week, but in a few weeks, New Year's Eve, I'm going to the Citrus Bowl. See Michigan and Texas play. So I'll give you a scouting report from there on
Okay.
Arch Manning.
Well, have fun in the rinky-dink, in the minor leagues.
And I'm going to my more of my nieces and nephew basketball games.
Your granddaughter.
A granddaughter. Your niece and nephew, right? They're playing good, but
Well,
they're playing good.
I will say I am very excited, obviously, for December 20th. We will start to assess and get my mind prepared for that game. But women's college volleyball, we're into, what is this, the Sweet 16. So all of the top 4 seeds, with the exception of one, so the top 15 of 16 seeds have made it to
Who
the
got
Sweet
knocked
16.
out?
USC. They were the 4 seed in one of the brackets. So this is what most people who watch the sport expected. Nebraska looks great. Some teams like Louisville really struggled in their last match. But hey, this is some competitive volleyball. So I'm excited to watch that. Also, it's Christmas time. So the apartment's decorated. I'm having a few gatherings, getting really festive, trying to be out and about. I'm going to maybe go for, if it didn't feel like 15 degrees currently, I would be trying to go for a run to the tree so I could finally see it lit up. So that's going to be on hold until it heats up a little bit.
It's 15 degrees up there?
It's technically like 21, but it feels like 15.
I'm coming up there tomorrow, Swebb.
For
I'm going
what?
to be there. I'm coming up there tomorrow. I'll be there all week until Friday.
Okay, well, make sure you bring your winter coat.
Oh, man. It's 15. Are you serious? It's 20 degrees?
Yeah, look at the temperature before you pack your suitcase. All right. So before we close things out, do you want to leave everyone with a tip of the week? A dad tip of the week.
I was watching that Ohio State Indiana game. Indiana, the worst college football team in the history of college football. They have more losses than any other programs. And they went in, they were the number, but they got a new head coach last year. So they were good last year, and this year they're undefeated. They're number 2 team in the country. Ohio State's number 1. They play in the Big Ten championship game on Saturday night. Indiana beats them with Mendoza, the quarterback, who's good chance he's going to get the Heisman Trophy on Saturday night, and good chance he's going to be the first pick in the draft. So they interview him after the game. And he is so happy, he's crying, and he's explaining to people, explaining to the lady that was interviewing him, how they have a brotherhood and such a tight bond on that team. Because she's saying, how did you guys do this? How did you guys do this? Nobody expected them to win that game against Ohio State. And he said, we have such a tight bond. We have a brotherhood. We stick together. And we're used to being in the deep end of pools. And what we do is we keep the game close and we drag the other team into the deep end. And then we come out victorious. And you know what? It's like life. A lot of times you get dragged into the deep end, no fault of your own. But you got to be resilient to get out and not give up and not quit. And it was one of the best. That's why I never turn the TV off when these games are, oh, the game's over. Keep it on. Get the interviews. Hear what successful people did to get where they are. And I'm telling you, that was one of the best interviews I've ever heard. He said, we dragged the other team into the... See, I mentioned this a few weeks ago. Ohio State never played a close game all season. They blew out every team. And the minute they got into a close game, their field goal kicker missed like a 30-yard field goal. Did you see that?
Yes.
Okay. He's not used to having to worry about missing and making a field goal because they were blowing everybody out. But they got dragged into the deep end. And it was unbelievable the way he said that. We just dragged the other team into the deep end.
Well.
And it's so much like life. Sometimes you get dragged into the deep end, and you got to be prepared for trouble. Dad tip of the week, Swebb. That's why I'm as cool as a cucumber, Swebb. I never get nervous.
And if you're in the deep end, you're probably going to sink.
No, I won't.
With as heavy as you are. Unless you have some buoyancy.
I'll float, Swebb. I'll float.
Yeah.
I know how to swim.
Well, that was a good story. And anytime Ohio State loses, I'm happy. Indiana, no longer just a basketball school. All right.
Oh, man. They were the worst team in the history of college football. They never won. Michigan and Ohio State used to beat them like 50-7 every year they played them.
Hey, if
They were
Miami
horrible.
can get past Texas A&M and they play Ohio State, I'm hoping that kicker is still in the mix, okay? I'm hoping that kicker is still in the mix. So we'll see what happens, but lots to look forward to. And that concludes this week's episode of Dad and Swebb Talk Sports. Be sure to follow us at Dad and Swebb on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and Rumble and share this episode with a friend. We will see you next week.
So long.
The you.
What are you going to do now, Swebb?
Thank you for tuning in to Dad and Swebb Talk Sports, the show where we cover all of our favorite sports moments from the past week. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and Rumble and follow us at Dad and Swebb on Instagram and X. See you next week.